ಒಂದೇ ಮೆಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಅಲ್ವಾ ಯಾರಿಗೂ ಟೀ ಆಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಲ್ಲ ಸೇರ್ಕೊಂಡ್ಮೇಲಂತೂ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಅಪ್ಪ ಸೌಮ್ಯ ಶಿವಾನಂದ ಹೆಸರು ಅವನು ನಂಬರ್
ಅವರೆಲ್ಲ ಅದೇ ಒಂದು ಪ್ರವಾಸಕ್ಕಷ್ಟೇ ಇವರಿದು ಆ ಇಂಟೋ ಸುತ್ತದಲ್ಲಿ ಇನ್ನೂ ಇದಾಗುತ್ತಾರೆ
ಹಾಳಾಗ ಬಂದು ಸೇರ್ಕೊಂಡು ಇದು ಮಾಡ್ತಾಳ ಅಂತ ಬೈದೆ ಇಲ್ಲ ನಚ್ಚವರಲ್ಲಿ ಬಂದಿರ್ಲಿಲ್ಲ
ಹನ್ನೆರಡು ಅದೇ ಒಂದ್ ಗಂಟೆ ಒಂದು ಕಾಲಲ್ಲೇನ ಬಂದ್ರು ನಾವು ಊಟ ಮಲ್ಕೋವಾಗ ಬಂದ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಇದಿಲ್ಲ ಮುಖ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಬಂದು
ನೀವು ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ಬೇಕಿತ್ತು ಹೌದು ಎಲ್ಲಾ ಕೆಲಸ ಇವರೇ ಅಸಿಸ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಏನ್ ಕಳೀತಾರೆ ಮನೆ ಬಿಟ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ದೊಡ್ಡದೇ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ ಸರಿಯಾಗಿ ಸಿಕ್ಕಾಕಿಸ್ತೀನಿ ಟೈಮ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ ಇದಷ್ಟೇ ಅರ್ಧ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ ಸರಿಯಾಗಿ ಸಿಕ್ಕಾಕಿಸ್ತೀನಿ
Okay, good evening all.
Good evening, madam.
So
Good evening, madam.
Good evening, madam.
today, Harinakshi ma'am.
Yes, madam.
So everybody is ready for, have they done their work?
Yes.
Almost all of them have done.
Huh?
Almost all of them have done, madam. One by one.
So it's not a problem. Those who have done can show.
Okay.
Share the screen and they can show what work they have done. Then we can go ahead with the session.
Okay, madam. Can you call out their names or you want to call out?
You can, anybody can go ahead and tell me. Then I can just write the feedback what I have and I can send it to you.
Okay.
Ma'am, we can show the fourth exercise now. We are ready with fourth exercise. Shall I go ahead and show, ma'am?
What have we done?
Madam, your voice.
So this particular center is SH System Raichur. Shweta, Jay and Altaf sir is doing that. And the students, can you tell me who are the students over here? Can you introduce yourself?
Halima Sadia, Muskan,
Okay. So hey.
Ayaz, and Mother.
Okay. Okay, go ahead. Yeah. Can we start?
They're just logging into the console.
Okay, fine.
We are logging in console. Now we have signed in the console. Now we'll go to create a S3 bucket.
Okay.
Now here we'll create a bucket. Yes. With a bucket name.
Okay.
Here ACL will be enabled.
Okay.
And we'll remove all the block that is public access. Everyone can access it from
Okay.
any. Okay, then we'll create a bucket. Yeah, this is the bucket which we have created now. Now we'll upload files on this as was given index.html and error.html files. We'll upload,
Fine.
add files. Yeah. Desktop. Yeah, this one is index.
Hmm.
Yeah. And another will be error file. After doing this, we'll upload it now.
Okay. Fine.
We have successfully uploaded the files, ma'am.
Okay.
Now we again clicking on the bucket index file. Here we'll go on permissions and give every that is read access for the object, save changes. Yeah. हो गया लो. हो गया. This one I will do. This one I will do. Index file. Index. Here also we'll do the same. We'll go to permissions. We'll give access to everyone to read and save the changes. Here, yeah. Static properties, static. Yeah, in this, when we come to properties for static web hosting, we'll edit this and we'll enable this one.
Very nice.
Enabling, and here we'll provide document, index document with index HTML and error document with error.html.
Good.
These are the two files which we have uploaded.
Okay.
Correct. Save changes. Here we have come up with a link. When we tap on this, yeah, click on this. This is the website, ma'am. That is I am a dog. If we click on dog, it responds with woof woof, and if we click on cat, it responds with meow meow.
Very nice.
So now, yeah, after this, we can also, yeah, no, back. From bucket also we can access this, ma'am, like from our here from index file also. From here also object URL. From here also we can access, get access to that website. This is what I am a dog and cat, like that. It will respond to it, ma'am. This is the main use case of S3. This is why and provides with a storage that is S3, ma'am. No other files or folders can open if like publicly in this way. That is, it will not provide with the object URL, ma'am. In S3 only, in Amazon only, that is in S3, it will provide with an object URL from which we can get access to this.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. We can even block the access by deselecting that.
Okay.
That is in this bucket, we can go to index. Here permissions. Then again we can deselect that whatever we have given access. We'll deselect this. Save changes. Reload that. Yeah. Because we have deselected that read access, then it's showing whoops. That is error.
Error file is there. Yeah.
That access, ma'am. No one can access it now, so it is showing whoops.
Okay.
This is how a website is hosted using S3.
Nice. Very nice.
Again, we can delete the whole thing. All the buckets and objects can be deleted now. Now we delete. Buckets. In this you can go to bucket. Bucket. From this we will delete these two. That is cleaning up the bucket. Here we should mention that permanently delete to confirm that is. Delete objects. Bucket can be deleted only when all the objects are deleted. If not, it will not get deleted. And now we can delete the bucket. This bucket which we created now, we will delete it.
Okay.
Mention the name and delete. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Finish, ma'am.
Okay.
Yeah, ma'am. We also created another website. If you allow, we'll show, ma'am.
Yeah, you can show it fast because other people are also there. But
Yes,
in your all feedback, I'm not going to give in the session. I'll put it in the file and I'll send it to you. Okay. I'll
Okay,
send it to Harinakshi ma'am. And but I can tell, well done. You are very confident. Okay. I hope everybody is like you.
Yeah.
And,
What we created, ma'am. That is example of a calculator.
okay, fine.
Calculate this. Like this, ma'am.
Okay.
Yeah, that's it. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
So who's going next now?
No.
Hello, ma'am. This is
Yeah. Anybody who is next? Please go ahead.
hello, ma'am. This is Sachin from Toyota Computers.
Okay, sir.
We are going to present 3 exercises from the static website to S3 bucket storing.
Okay, go ahead, please.
Thank you. Okay, 1 moment.
Okay.
So we are using the putty for the first one, first session for the static website through. And we are starting the HTTP server. It's got run. And now we're going into the directory. So this is the static HTML file which we have updated,
Yeah, okay.
and through EC2 instance. So we are copying the public IP address.
Okay.
So this is the static website now through EC2 instance we uploaded.
So this, have you created a EC2 instance for, or are you doing it from S3?
No, this is for the EC2 instance we have created,
Okay.
and through S3 I will show you ma'am next.
Okay, fine.
Shall I show with the existing one, or shall I create the new one ma'am? So for the
No,
time.
S3 bucket only you should.
Okay, so this is the bucket we have created, and after creating the bucket, we have enabled the static website hosting,
Okay.
and in that one, we have given the index file as well as the error file.
Okay.
And from there on, we have added the permission.
Hmm.
We have turned off all the public access for the to get the output to the public, and rather than in the previous batch they have shown enable the ACL. So the difference between the enable the ACL and disable the ACL. So when you start in a shared environment, we can't give access to the rest of the members. So we select, rather than enabling the ACL. So I have updated the bucket policy to get public access. So this is the JSON format which I added into the bucket policy, so that we no need to create the enable the ACL. So whenever there is an environment in that situation, we need to give access to the in the internet network. So at that time we can enable the ACL.
That's a good point. Everybody can make a note of that.
Okay,
Some learning which we have.
sure. Thank you, ma'am. And I have given the, now it's publicly accessible.
Hmm.
We can go to the properties. Sorry, I will show you the objects which I have added into the. So this is just, I have taken the a free HTML template.
Okay.
So this is the URL. So this is just a static website, static free HTML template which I added in the S3 bucket. So this is the output map.
Very nice. Very nicely done.
And one more thing, which for the second GitHub, according to the, we can invoke the function and transfer the file, I mean cloning the file. So for that one, one moment, ma'am.
Hmm.
So this is my GitHub account. On this one, I have added the index file.
Okay.
Okay, so this is the repository web server. Sorry, it got stuck.
Mm.
Sorry, ma'am, the system got stuck.
No issues.
Uh, in the meantime, I will allow other teams to present. I will show you, ma'am, once it's recorded.
Okay, no issues. So this is you have done it from the GitHub, right? And the other one is a static one which you showed me, right?
For the GitHub, I have uploaded the index file. Theoretically, I will explain it, ma'am. So I have created the repository and I have added the public key to the GitHub. And from there on, because until unless you share the public keys to the GitHub, it won't clone. It won't allow us to clone the any repository to the in our instance.
Okay.
So for that one, I uploaded the public key by generating the RSA key. And after that, I have uploaded the. I get into the CD-WAR path and I have cloned the repository, and from there on copy the index file which is existing from the static to the new one, and after that I've given the same public IP which are shown for the static IP, so that will reflect as a new now it got hosted on the GitHub. So this one. Once it got restored, so I will show it to them.
Okay. Very nice work. Well done.
Thank you so much.
This is this which center you are presenting, Sachin?
Kavita Computers, Gulbarga.
Kavita Computers.
Gulbarga. Kalburgi.
So there are two groups over here.
Yes.
The entire group presentation is this, right?
This entire group presentation.
Okay. So is it, I just want to know that just for my knowledge, that everybody has participated, or is it like only, and are you the trainer or are you a student over there?
I'm the student, ma'am. So I've taken the help from my teammates. So from even as well from the L2. So together as a team, so we have completed the modules.
Okay. And who's your trainer?
Abhilash and Sajana.
Abhilash. Okay. So this, the new thing which you have done, did you discover yourself, or while you were doing the exercise, or you knew it?
I'm keen interested to the software development. So I was going through the GitHub. So and at the same time, your session was on GitHub and as well as the AWS. So I got at the same time. So I started giving my inputs to the team.
Okay, fine. Well done, Sachin. I hope everybody is, as confident as Sachin in this group. And because it's not students all about, making or developing any kind of a tool or practicing any software or knowing any software well. It's all about also how do you present it. Now, is even though there was a kind of a glitch, but that's okay. But I can still, when he was presenting, his personality was resonating the confidence. So ultimately, if anything goes wrong also, if you are very confident, it comes through your presentation that, okay, fine, you know the things. So I got to know that, okay, fine, at least Sachin and the group are well aware of the things what they have done and shown today. So well done. Next group.
Hello, ma'am.
Yeah.
This is Sriram from Justin Product. Can we present, ma'am?
Yeah, please. Go ahead. Please, sir.
Okay, ma'am. I will just share my screen. Is the screen visible, ma'am?
Yeah.
From System Infotech, we have completed 3 of exercises, ma'am. So I am going to show one by one.
Okay.
So we have created instances called my laptop 1 or 2 for the first exercise.
Okay.
So we have created an instance, and we have placed the HTML file inside that
Hmm.
for the first exercise, ma'am.
So
And
static web page. Yeah.
yeah, ma'am, it's the starting web page. We have created a web server inside that instance, and we have posted a web page in that, ma'am.
So you've used EC2 here, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Fine. Very good.
And for the GitHub repository, ma'am, I have created one repository called my camel. So
Hmm.
just a minute, ma'am.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is my GitHub profile, ma'am. I have created a web page repository called web page, and I have placed the HTML file, which is camel.html, and I have placed connected GitHub to the instance, and we can see. So this is my web page, ma'am.
Yeah, but from the instance you go to the web page, no? From loaded from there.
Yeah, ma'am. Okay. Yes, ma'am.
No, it's going directly, with the IP address. I'm saying that from the AWS, your instances, you launch this static page, no?
Yes, ma'am.
So you close this page. Let's see if it get launched from AWS AC2 instance.
Yes, ma'am. I have directly cloned the GitHub repository into the instance, ma'am. So it's directly going.
No, that's okay. But you close this page of Camel, both the tabs,
Okay, ma'am.
all the tabs, and then go to the EC2 instance where you have created or cloned the GitHub, and from there you run this site. Okay, yeah, that's what I was on. It's not going. Yeah, it should launch.
Just a minute, ma'am.
Most of the time, if there is such little problem, then the static page will not load.
It was working fine. Just loaded it. Till the time I will show the S3 one.
Sorry to interrupt. Sorry to interrupt. This is Altaf L2. So what I found is in the URL. Ma'am, can I take?
Yeah, no issues, no issues.
Sorry to interrupt. Brother, can you go to the URL? So which one it is not working? Can you go to the URL?
Yes, sir.
Instead of typing HTTPS, type remove that yes and type just HTTP. Oh,
Yes.
It will work.
So it's working.
But still, my point is that I'm not convinced whether it is getting launched from the instance because it's going directly there.
Okay,
if you close that and
just
no, I'm saying that when you click on open address, it should go. No, it should launch the site.
no, it's going to the HTTPS. It's not going to HTTP.
So there is something wrong there, no? Right? You have made it a secure site over there, but it's saying non-secure site. So there is some kind of a glitch which is there.
If you want, I can help later. Once this presentation get over, there is something to be changed in the security group. If you want, I can take a help, or you can ask other L2s. They will help you out.
I can make out that you have done a job. You have understood everything, but there is a glitch because it's not launching the instance from EC2. So there is some kind of a glitch which is there, which you have to find out and correct it.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay. Well done.
And
Very
S3,
nice. Yeah. S3 also you can show me.
yeah, we have created this bucket map,
Hmm.
and we have placed two files. One is index to HTML and another one is error HTML. So it's showing error page map. So when we go to objects and index to HTML and permissions,
Hmm.
edit one. So when we give the public access,
Hmm.
it will be right.
No, you have to put that. Yeah.
So, now it's working. The public access is working. When we press dog, it's and when cat, it's meow.
Okay, fine. Good work. But make sure that that particular thing you short it out. Don't leave it, because if
Okay.
there's a problem, you can take help from Altaf sir was telling that he can help you with this. So you
Yes.
can discuss with him and try to find out what's the problem. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Anybody else knows now doing?
Hello.
Yeah.
KTC Hubli is ready, ma'am, to present.
Which center is ready now?
Hubli Center, ma'am. Curis Training Center, Hubli.
KTC Hubli. Yeah, sir. You can go ahead. Who's this here? Can you tell your name?
Sagar, ma'am. Sagar.
Sagar.
He will represent.
Okay, so Sagar is a student there. Right?
Sagar.
I want students
Yes,
to present.
sir.
I don't want faculty
Yes.
to.
Aizaz, Rashmi.
The faculty will know all of this, right?
Sagar is present.
Ah.
Yes, ma'am.
Because I want to also see how he, present it. It's not how he deliver it.
Is it visible, ma'am?
Yeah, visible. Go ahead, Sagar. All the best.
So I have created two instances, sir, ma'am. With 1.1 as a EC2 instance. This is the EC2 instance, and it is available publicly with the settings. And this is the IPv4 part of the EC2 instance. We have launched it, and this is the website we have created with first and content.
Can you close
about
this, Sagar? Can you close this tab again? The static website tab, and then try it again from there. Let me see if it's going. Can you close the tab?
we need to.
Yeah, again launch it. Close the tab of the static page.
Yeah.
Launch,
Yes.
relaunch. Yeah, relaunch. No. I'm trying to tell you that you have to relaunch it from the in EC2 instances, not from here. Can you close this again?
Yeah.
Yeah, just go to the site and run from the EC2. Why it is
loading,
happening
ma'am.
that? Because the thing is that it should go from there directly. It should open the static page from there. Why you have to open
Yes,
a
ma'am.
separate tab and then ask?
This is the public available IP address, ma'am.
So when you click on it, it's not going. See here, that's what I wanted to tell you. You're also facing the same issue what the last group was facing.
Yeah,
See,
with the public IP,
my point is it should launch the static page from EC2 instance. If it's not able to launch, then there is some problem. See, everything steps are looking correct. But then how it is not launching? Why it's not going from there? It says also the state is running.
I've done it, ma'am. This is the CLI version of the IP.
Mhm.
One second. And we have created a authentication key for this, ma'am. So this is my authentication key for that.
Hmm.
So here we have our website index.css, index.html, and index.js file, ma'am. With this instance, it is running as a static website.
Yeah, it should, but the static website should open and get launched from EC2 instances. My question is still the same. Why it is not launching from there? What is the problem happening? Can anybody tell that where are they going wrong? Because last people group also had the same issue.
And with one more instance, ma'am, with GitHub also we have done.
Okay,
So this is the public IP for that with EC2 instance. So we have created a informative page for a rock garden. Is it visible, ma'am?
Yeah. There's something wrong.
With, about
I'm not able to see your entire thing, but something is wrong. Can anybody point out what is wrong in this? What is the mistake? It's very small glitch, but what it is? Anybody? See, I understand the static page is there on AWS, but from instance it is not launching that. What is the anybody can tell? GitHub is
hello,
also
this,
yeah.
Yeah, this is Abhilash, L2 actually. So
Yeah.
whenever we deploy Apache web server, so by default it will work on port 80. That is a HTTP port. But to use HTTPS, we need to basically configure SSL or TLS certificate.
So why
So we'll have
it
to
is not
generate.
See,
Sorry, ma'am,
SSL, I also understand in HTTPS. That's the reason why I'm saying your HTTP non-secure site, why it is not on HTTPS? Why that SSL is not generated? What was how to do that?
I mean, we need to manually generate it using OpenSSL. I mean, there are a set of commands to do that. Then we'll have to, put that in an XML file. Only then it will be able to reroute the traffic to through HTTPS, ma'am. So
what about from
right
AWS?
now,
AWS also has the facility to give you the
no, that
SSL.
Yeah, I mean that we should do through Route 53. Only then that will go through. But here we are directly trying to access it using the IP address or the DNS, public DNS. So from there it will go inside and talk to Tomcat, but there it is not configured, not Tomcat, Apache. But Apache is not configured to respond back on HTTPS. That is 443 port. So that is something a manual step we should do, and only then it will work, ma'am.
Who's speaking?
Abhilash, ma'am.
Your
L2
trainer?
actually. Yes, ma'am. Yep.
Which center?
Kavita Computers.
Kavita Computers.
Yes, ma'am.
I think, do you think the same problem existed with the last group also?
Yes, ma'am. This is like a common problem.
So,
Hello.
Yeah, please go ahead.
This is the index file for S3 instances. So this is the original URL for that. With
Okay,
this,
fine. And now see it's happening. From S3 it is happening.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
So as sir said, with the EC2 instance, we have to configure it again.
Okay, so
With
please
IP.
so that's a learning. Okay, so people learn on that part, because that's something which you have to learn, and your trainers are, well expert people. They can tell you all these things, right? And you can go ahead and do that, because there are certain things, because in that kind of SSL and Apache, what Abhilash sir was saying, that is something which is beyond my capability. So you people have to make sure that whenever you're doing something, there should be no glitch. Nothing should come, and nothing should be there when you're presenting it to someone. When you are doing the same thing, let's say this is an Amazon recruitment training, and when they're asking you to run some instances from EC2, and you have this glitch, and you say, no, we have to do like this, they said, why you don't do it? So that's one thing which you all learn. But great work. I must say that all of you have, I didn't expect this much. I thought maybe still you might be learning and you might be doing it, but that's a great work, because you see, this is again very beginning stage. It's not something like you have mastered it. It is just like a drop in the ocean. You have earned it. So well done. Anything else you want to show me, Sagar?
That's it, ma'am.
Very
Thank you.
nice. Very well done. And
Thank you, madam.
So this was SH. This is Shrishti, right? KTC.
No, ma'am.
KTC.
KTC Hubli.
So well done. Tahir Mirzi is I think the faculty over there.
Yes, ma'am.
He has done a wonderful job. And
Thank you, ma'am.
the only thing is just what we can do is, like how Abhilash sir has told, and how other people are telling, take those feedback very constructively, and try to inculcate or help each other, coordinate with each other, and try to find out, with each other, that how you can do perfect. The job should be always perfect. There should be no glitches. Well
Yes,
done.
ma'am. We'll make sure then. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Which is the other group which is going now?
Thank you, madam.
Thank you, ma'am.
Hello, ma'am. This is Sachin again.
Okay.
Yeah. So regarding your last query, so you were asking why it didn't allowing us to the S3. The basic difference is, so when S3 works on HTTP. So when you want to invoke the HTTPS, so we need to go for there is another service from AWS which is CloudFront formation, that's template. So for that one we need to host the static website or the dynamic. For that one we need to go for the HTTPS. So the service which we need to use for the HTTPS, that would be CloudFront formation.
Okay, fine. Okay, so now which is the next group which is going to come now?
Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening.
Sharp Computer Belgaum, ma'am.
Okay, please start.
Good evening, ma'am. I am Pooja Nayak. And you had given 4 exercises. We have completed 4 exercises, ma'am. And now we have to present about exercise 1 and exercise 4, ma'am.
Okay, fine.
2 exercises are presenting my friends in the next session because they have exams, ma'am.
Okay, go ahead. But I hope they have learned this, right?
Yes.
All of you have done it together.
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
Now I am presenting exercise 1. Ma'am, this is our exercise 1, ma'am. We are hosting web page, but we cannot present through AWS, ma'am, because some login problem, ma'am.
No, I didn't want to see the website. I wanted you to launch the static website from the EC2 and S3. That was the exercise. If that part is not done, it is okay. You can show in the others, when you are ready. That's not an issue at all. But
ma'am, AWS account is hanged out, ma'am. This is the L2 faculty of Belgavi, ma'am.
Okay.
In the last moment, it is hanged out, ma'am. We are going to recover that AWS account.
Okay. So whenever it is recovered, you show me then. Yes.
Okay, ma'am. Okay, ma'am.
Any other group? So which one is this group? Which is this center? Dharwad.
Belgavi Sharp Computers.
Belgavi Sharp Computer.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, who is going now next? Nobody? Marinakshi ma'am, everybody has done now?
Secretary, ma'am.
Huh?
Secretary is ready, ma'am.
Okay.
They are ready to do, ma'am.
They have not done, right?
No, ma'am. Yeah, still there.
Okay, so till now you have Sharp Computers Belgavi, then SH System Raichur, then you have KTC Hubli and Shrishti Infotech and Kavita Computers. These are the people who have done, shown.
And yes, yeah, they have done. And Secretary, they are presenting.
Yes, yes, ma'am.
Who's presenting? Somebody is presenting.
Secretary is presenting. Chandrakant Technologies, Bangalore.
Okay, go ahead, please.
Good evening, ma'am. If you have logged in through your mobile, kindly log out. Use one system. Like again, if you have logged in also through the mobile, then the echo will come. Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening.
First, I'll go to my account. So I select my C2 EC2 web.
Okay.
Then I'll go to instance new. I'll select this launch instance. In that name and tag, I'll give a name. Then I'll select the application on OS images as Amazon Unisex.
Okay.
And then instance type is free trial eligibility. That's a CPU on. And then key pair is I have already created a key pair. And then select
Password. Key pair password.
and then I'll select allow HTTP start it from internet. And then now
No, actually, everyone was facing problem. I thought, as everyone told, we have to select here allow HTTPS for opening that static website, ma'am. We thought we have selected allow SSH and HTTP traffic only. That's why we are facing issues, ma'am.
Okay, so can anybody help
I'm
them?
going to take a hard disk.
Yeah, do it.
Storage as general purpose SSD. We are available. I'm 8 GB enough from. The next, I'm going to launch instances. Then I'm finding my all instances. Now the instance has been created. I'm going to launch that.
The same process repeats, ma'am. As I already created, I will try to show that, ma'am. System piece, computer piece, then open. See, ma'am, we have to remove S, and if we do like this, the website static website is open.
Okay.
See, ma'am, we can see here not secure. The next I will show the S3 bucket in storage itself. And here we added a file. We created a static page HTML itself to this bucket, ma'am, and also an external image. And now this is a URL for opening. I will show you other version. I will show you another image I have added. Open. That's all, ma'am. We have completed only 2 exercises, and remaining we have to complete 2.
Okay. So this is the CK tech, right? No issues. What you have done is correct only, and everything is good. Good job done. Okay. So is there anybody else who's...
Ma'am, in CK tech, my name is Pawan, and her name is Deepa.
Okay. So all students only have done, no? All these things?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, fine.
Ma'am, next Chirag yeah, sorry.
Yeah. Who's the next one?
Chirag Infotech is ready, I believe.
Okay, fine. Chirag Infotech is ready. See, Chirag Infotech, if you have done all the 3 exercises, then you go ahead. If you have done half, then in that case, we will do this in the next session.
Ma'am, we actually done only 1 exercise, ma'am.
You have done only 1. Then there's no point. Please finish the entire thing. Okay. And then we can go ahead with the other. We can see the entire one, because half I don't want to see.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, fine. Any other? No? Okay. So I have seen most of you have done a good job, and some of you were like difference was around -1, -2, like that. Basic objective of this exercise was to understand whether what is a learning level, what is the outcome of all these sessions. So it should be in the form of practical thing. Now, what I'll do is I will just go ahead and do the rest remaining part of what we continued in the last, session. And that was basically on the AWS practitioner certificate. So I'm just give me a few seconds and open that. Okay, so you remember, students, we were actually doing a course which I started, and I said I will be taking the session on this. And the course was on AWS Certified Cloud Practitioner exam. which I feel that all of you should take it regardless of whatever is your specialization, because I can see that most of you have taken AI with Python. So AWS Certified Cloud Practitioner exam has basically various kinds of domain, as I told you in the last class, that the first domain is cloud concept, like what is IaaS, PaaS, PaaS, SaaS, and all those kinds of hybrid, private cloud. All these are the beginners knowledge which you should, which you have, I have also done and you also know. The third domain was the core technology, which I did in the last one. If you remember, S3, it's AC2 instances, and most of you were able to launch a static website and do certain kind of instances or do exercises using those core technology S3 and especially EC2. So I think you are well versed with that. The third part which I'm going to complete is security and compliances. So when you want to take this particular exam, you have to be, you need to have a thorough knowledge about cloud concept, technology, the core technology, EC2 and S3, which I feel personally you all are prepared for that. And the third one, which we are going to take today, is the security and compliances. Now, these are the four major domain, and the fourth domain which I will take in the next session is billing and pricing. That you should be knowing about what is the charges of all these kind of services what you're taking, because Amazon Web Service is all about the pay as you go kind of service. So these are the cloud concept like security, technology, billing, pricing. So when you do all these four courses, which we are doing now, even a non-engineer people, non-engineer students can also give the test and get a certification, which is called AWS Certified Cloud Practitioner. So when you get that, your chances of getting, placed, especially in e-commerce company like Amazon or maybe in the Amazon cloud computing services is high. So Amazon actually want you to take this particular course so that you should know before you are using the AWS services thoroughly. So in this particular session today, we will be defining what is AWS shared responsibility model, what is AWS cloud security and compliance concept, and also you will be able to identify AWS SS management capability. So we are going to identify the resource for receiving security related concept. So some of the major security related concepts, what we are going to discuss in this, in the security and compliance domain is the identity access management, which is also called IAM, AWS web application firewall or WAF, or AWS trusted advisors. These are the core security services, and we are going to, and this is what you people should be knowing from in order to give that particular exam. There are many, but this is one which is very important. So let's start with some basic concept that how do you provide security in the cloud? So if you are like me, I'm not a very techie person like you all. I am having a little background and little knowledge. But if you say that if I have to practice it, maybe I have to first, gear myself up, or I can have to sharpen my axe, and then I can go ahead and I do it. So when you are anything just like me, at present, and when you think about security of your data, your IT infrastructure, you may be thinking of a server room in your office, because as I'm thinking that how do I keep my file secure, where I have exam papers, university exam papers, student confidential data, where do I keep that? So I will be thinking most probably it's a server room in my office, which can be locked with a card key, and only IT department has it. And then I will also think that who are the people who are going to access this data using a server. Maybe my company has a data center offsite that can have a drive that I have to go and reach to physically to that particular center to take a backup if I have to take a backup. And how do I access that particular server? From where do I access? So when you get a data center in your own premises, in a company premises, a company normally faces or encounter lot of security personal issues. So as I was telling you that this was the past practice where every company will have a server room which can be offsite. Most of the security or the server rooms will be offsite. It will be secured with key card. You will have the lot of security devices, lot of security personnel who will check the people thoroughly, will see whether you're carrying any kind of device to copy the file or not, and whether you're authorized to move into the data center or not. And then after that, they will allow you to. So, and there were a lot, it was not easy to access those, file. So when you get into the data center, your security personnel are there. They will be checking you, frisking you, asking you to submit a lot of credentials. There will be a biometric system for you to, pass and authorize your entry into it. So all these are something which is a think of past, when people had these kinds of challenges. Now today, when we think about securing our data on a cloud-based, security, then you don't have to keep a costly data center functioning and providing or investing money in securing that data in that data center. Instead, that you can have a cloud computing service provider, just like AWS, managing your own data center, which we discussed in the last class, on your behalf. But it is not that they only manage your data center and then you worry about the security. So what they do is they not only manage your data in their data centers, in their cloud servers, along with what kind of IT infrastructure you are using, they also deploy certain kinds of technology or certain resources on AWS cloud. A kind of an architect is built with security in mind. So AWS help you in keeping your data safe with highly secure data centers. And they are basically safeguarded in a place where your privacy, your, kind of anything which you want with the data is totally. So you are just, don't have to bother about your data. Everything is taken care by the AWS. Now you say that my data is secured. Okay, fine. Nobody is able to steal my data. There will be no unauthorized access. But apart from that, is there anything that I can do to make sure that my data is stored and it is actually also meeting all the compliances? I don't know how many of you know that every country has related to data center and storage of data some compliances. And those compliances, like last time you were talking about HIPAA, and then I went ahead and I read about it. So AWS HIPAA compliances also, I will show you. So what they do is they basically become architect in their architect is built on the data center in a way that there are a lot of dozens of compliance programs which are built or embedded into the system. So AWS not only will secure your data with the securing technology, which I'm going to discuss today, but also meet dozens of compliance programs so that it can be a country compliance requirement or it can be an industry compliance requirement for data security. So securing your data on AWS cloud is now very easy because you're not only saving the time and money and you worry about whether my data is safe or not, you are also meeting the compliances, which can be industry compliances or which can be this. So let us learn about few concepts and framework for security in the cloud. And then I will show you also where you can find out the, the security compliances, how it is doing it. Before we go ahead and find out what are the technology used in AWS or what kind of facility they provide, we have to understand one model on which this entire AWS security is based. This is a very universal model, which we say shared responsibility model on cloud servers. So when you're utilizing a cloud to house any part of your technical infrastructure, you must first consider the security which is going to impact in order to move your resources onto the cloud, whether it is a data or IT infrastructure. So unlike on the premises data center, which is actually protected when you are doing a data center on your own premises, you have a physical security, you have a technical security, you have administrative security on a data center. But when you are hosting your data center on the cloud, there, which is basically can be in any of the undisclosed location. You don't even know where is the location of AWS cloud data center in which your data is residing. So whose responsibility is the security of the data center? Is it the server, the network, or the data itself? So who is responsible? In a way, I can say that whether this is a responsibility of the client who is using the AWS services, or is it a responsibility of AWS? So like now you all have shown me the EC2 instances. All those EC2 instances that are running computation or whatever it is, you have who makes sure that the security patches are up to date, who protect the data from being not being corrupted. Not while hacking and stealing is another aspect, but what about your data not being corrupted? So AWS has a model that helps us to solve all these kinds of problems with a kind of a model called share responsibility model. Now, what is a share responsibility model? As the name suggests, the share responsibility says that the security of the cloud infrastructure, which is shared, the security responsibility is shared between the customers and AWS. So if you are a customer of AWS, like now all of you are a customer, you saved in EC2 and Institute instances and S3. So your everything it's a responsibility of you and AWS. Now you will say why we are responsible, we are paying Amazon. Amazon should be solely responsible for that. But it doesn't work because Amazon will give you feature. You have to enable those features. Just now we saw the HTTP and HTTPS. So that's also one of the security. One HTTP is non-secure site and HTTPS is secure site with SSL. So how do you enable those kinds of security so that that you don't have to worry? So Amazon give this kind of opportunity to the customers so that they can take the responsibility and also be transparent about what kind of security they want to apply. And accordingly, they have to pay, right? So, when we are talking about the security, the basic breakdown of AWS responsibility is that customer are responsible for the security in the cloud. And the AWS is responsible for security of the cloud. Any idea what can it be in the cloud and off the cloud? Okay, let me not waste time because we have very less time. Let's see if we can deconstruct that AWS. What does it mean that AWS is protecting the security, giving the security of the cloud, and you are protecting or you are responsible for security in the cloud? So let us see that when we are talking about AWS, that they are responsible for security of the cloud, that means that AWS is responsible for protecting the infrastructure that runs all the services offered by AWS Cloud, which can include hardware, software, networking, data center facilities that are running on their AWS computing platform. So you can think of it like AWS is responsible for security of the component which make up the cloud, like data center, physical servers, virtual servers. On the other hand, the AWS also tell the customers that you are responsible for security in the cloud. That means that the customer are responsible for checking or using a varying level of security functions or features which are available or which were given by AWS. So you have to enable those security features and accordingly you have to pay to the AWS. So AWS give you an opportunity to use a particular security feature, which we're going to learn this in the session. So this could be actually, you can protect your data. You can protect the application which you have or running on the cloud platform. You can also allow the identity access management means that you can allow the employee who's accessing the data that who should do what, whether a person is just authorized to see the data but not modify, and somebody is allowed to do what. So that access management is in your hand. So whatever you're storing in the cloud, the kind of security feature you want to apply, that is your responsibility. So that's called the share responsibility model. So even the operating system of the virtual machine, right? The operating system of the virtual machine, configuring the firewall, data encryptions, all these is the responsibility of security thing by you. So AWS Cloud will give you that feature. You have to enable that feature. So AWS Cloud like data encryption and patching servers, all these are something which is inbuilt. This is a security thing which is the you are responsible for. So the share responsibility model of AWS Cloud is widely explained in their website. You can just go and you can read about that what you are supposed to do, what are you responsible for. So customer is responsible for security of the thing which they are keeping in the cloud. In a way, these are the features which we are going to discuss in this session today. And these features are that AWS has developed the 5 pillars of framework for security to give you a secure, efficient, high performing IT infrastructure. And these are like identity and access management, IAM, then detective controls, infrastructure protection, data protection, and incident response. And to make sure that user access is managed properly, you want to actually implement what that depends on you as a customer. So the principle is, one more principle is actually applied here, which I have not put a slide on, which is called principle of least privilege. The principle of least privilege means that you only provide access to the people who need to do your job and who are trustable and who are the people who are required to go and make some changes, or maybe the data administrator or somebody. Not all the people. For example, the least privilege means that a CEO of the company will have all the privilege to access and modify all kind of data. Whereas a fresher who has just joined, maybe a developer or database administrator, will not have that kind of privilege. So you, and also apart from least privilege, the AWS will also allow you to do the traceability by monitoring alerts, audit actions, change in any kind of environment in the real time. So you can apply security in all layers from on your infrastructure. Even in the virtual server also, you can make your infrastructure very secure. For example, the organization subnet, the load balancer, the virtual machine in the operating system layer. So you can have the best security practices which can be automated by you, available on the AWS platform. So you can protect your data in 2 ways. You can protect your data. So this is what I was telling you, that you can apply security on all layer of infrastructure, and the outer layer of the physical data center is something which we do when we are keeping a data server with us in an offsite or on-site data center. We only provide a physical security, but here you can provide physical security, technical security, as well as the administrative security that also you can provide. The virtual server, you can have a multiple layer of subnet and all those things I told you. This is also what I have already explained. So what is basically what I want to tell you is that the data should be protected where the data is at rest or is in transit when the data is traveling. So at rest, when it is stored, for example, in S3 bucket. So then also the data, security has to be provided. So you have to enable those security. When data is in transit, when means that it is moving from one server or one place to another. And when you send an email from, let's say, your mail server to your friend's mail server, that time the data is in transit. So the security mechanism should be adjusted actually accordingly, so that you can select and you can enable certain kind and eliminate any kind of security breach. So, and you can also identify or prevent sometime human error, because sometimes because of the human error you will lose a very sensitive data. You can also because of the human error there can be a modification of sensitive data. So you can have an alert whenever sometime data is being modified or there's a loss of data because of human error. If this alert can happen or this can be prevented. So these are the certain security instances which happens. So let me now take some example and we can talk about those features which are available. So before I go ahead, as I was telling you that when we are talking about AWS cloud, AWS not only look after the security or doesn't give you only the security infrastructure, but also help you in identifying the compliances which are needed. It can be industry compliances or it can be a compliance needed by a country. Right, from example, in India, you can't move the financial data or the transaction related to financial data out of the country. So even if you're storing the, it has to be physically, the data center should be, just give me a few seconds. So physically, your data center should be located within India. The data should not move out. That's the only thing. Whereas in Europe, you have GDPR, General Data Protection Right, where they have given a lot of rights to the users, like right to object, right to, what you can say, you can have a right to information, that where your data is used by the companies like Google and all, they're using your data, all these kinds of protection. So there are so many compliances which are there. There are certain compliances which industry want you to follow when you are storing your data. So you can find all these in the AWS compliance program. You can go to awsamazon.com compliance and program. I will take you there. Let's see that how it works. And you can see that all AWS compliance programs are divided up into region of the world. That means the whole entire world is divided into regions, and there is a entire section, separate section on privacy. So definitely, because in certain country you have, for example, if your organization is dealing with patient data, and this I've learned from you only, and I thought that, that day when you were explaining me, I went in and did research, and I found that when you are doing with some kind of a dealing with the patient data in United States, the United States government want you to comply with HIPAA, which you only people told me, and I have found about that. So you can now found out that how AWS is compliant with HIPAA and how data is secured on AWS in compliance with HIPAA. So the laws, regulation, privacy or HIPAA, whatever you say, if you have any kind of questions, they give you FAQ. So let's see that. Okay. So I'm going to now take you to the site of the Amazon compliance, and we can look into this. So you can see this is the AWS compliance program, which will help you to understand the various kinds of security compliances in the cloud. All are, given over there. These are all kind of a global compliances. You can see all ISO, personal protection, privacy, all these are there. You can just go ahead and check. This is HIPAA. So when I click on HIPAA, so I can get all kinds of information on that. I have FAQ on that. What is HIPAA? What is HITRUST? What is business associate? So all these are there in HIPAA. So I'll just go ahead back. Apart from that, if you can see, all kind of compliances are there. Media content, for example, technology, NIST. Then you have all information on GDPR, which I was telling you. Then in Asia, so you have region wise, you can see here. So this is a global compliance. This is compliances in America. As patient HIPAA is there. Then you have Asia Pacific. You have FinTech, for Asia Pacific regions, NISC, OSPAR, Europe and Middle East and Africa region. You have these are the kinds of compliances we have. Okay. Then you have these also there. You can see these are all certification for ISO 9000 or whatever you want. All kinds of laws and regulations are explained. Everything is here. Privacy, as I said, there's a separate section. So in privacy, you have what are the laws, what are the acts in 190 countries, and wherever they're operating in America, Asia Pacific. So there are 3 regions: America, Asia Pacific, and Europe, Middle East, and Africa. And you can find all the compliances over there. Okay. So this is how the AWS is not only giving you security in terms of technology, but also trying to enable, the features which is compliant with the country rules and regulations, or maybe about the thing. So this is one thing which I wanted you people to know about AWS security. And this is also a part of your AWS practitioner exam, where they will ask you that what are the various kinds of law, and how do you find out which are the site, what are the 3 regions in that. They will give you all kinds of questions and MCQ. Now let's take few example of certain security feature which you can enable for your data center, or for your data in the AWS Cloud Computing Center. So one is called Identity and Access Management, very widely used, IAM, which also is as the name suggests, it manages the access permission to AWS. That means when you're utilizing the cloud to house any part of your technical infrastructure, you must first consider the security impact of moving the all kind of resources into the cloud on the AWS. So unlike if you have a data center on your premises, which is protected by the virtual being, or maybe you have a physical security over your data centers, but when you are residing and we are moving your data into a data center hosted on a cloud resource in an undisclosed data center, physically you can't provide the security. You can't say, okay, fine, AWS, this is my data, this is my cloud server. You are not going to, this is my private cloud, and I am going to give up security over here. I will go to place. You can't do that, because you never know that where is your data center in which your data is hosted. So you have now got an idea that how do you provide an unrestricted access to your IT resource in your organization. Now you can say that all employees may have access, not necessary that all employees may have access to the data, all kind of data. So how do you manage that? So AWS has the services called Identity Access Management, which is also commonly called as IAM. What it does, it helps you to identify, it's a free service actually, let me tell you that. It's a free service which is provided by AWS that enable you to manage the access to your services or resources which you have put on AWS Cloud. So what you can do is you can create and manage users, okay? And you can manage, as I was telling, you can manage users, you can manage the group of the users and set permission for them to allow or deny access to various resources. The permissions can be global. So like, for example, if you're managing a resource users, so it can be a global access also. It can be a local access also. So when you are saying that permissions are global, it means that access you set for a group or a set of users will be for all region in the AWS cloud, right? And whatever data centers you have in all the regions, whatever department data you are creating, all access are given globally. But when you, when you're providing access to a user or a service, you also have to follow the principle of least privilege. As I said, that CEO has a highest privilege, and a person who has joined will have a least privilege. He can only view the data. Maybe he can't modify the data. He can't copy the data. There are certain kind of permission you can set on various services. So these permissions you can set on the services. You can allow the person to access a particular AWS resource of your company. And so you are basically using a IAM to manage users, manage their roles, and also manage the federate user. So the first when you can set access is by using a IAM to manage users, which I'm going to discuss now. So what you can do, you can create users in IAM, assign them individual security credential like login ID and password. And this user can have permission set so that you can also control which operation a user can perform on which specific service. A user can be an administrator, which need a console access to manage the AWS cloud account. End user who need to access the content on AWS cloud account, or maybe a programmer who want to access a cloud, AWS cloud service like Lambda or some code technology. You can give that access. So that kind of permission you can set for individual user or a group of user. So there is something called programmatic access. Programmatic access means that applications which are directly accessing resources in the AWS cloud, which are, for example, you have an application program developed and then you have a set of data which is also on AWS cloud. And your application is also running on AWS cloud. So your application is accessing those data from AWS cloud. So you set a kind of a access to a user to either use the application program, and in a way he can access those data which is available on AWS cloud. So you set roles for people, and you can create role to manage permission, to have a control. You can just deny the access anytime to anybody if you have a kind of a belief that a person is misusing. So an entity and any person in the AWS, any user or employee who assume a role. For example, like ERP system also you have seen. The ERP system, let's say it's a ERP system for the student. So student will have a role where the students have access to the data, which is only given permission by the teachers. Like it will be LMS, it will be their attendance data. They can see those data, view that data, but they can't, modify that data. That much access is given. That's a student role. Then the second role is given as a teachers. So teacher will have a wider role than the student, where they can see the data, they can upload the data, modify the data, and access certain data of the students. Then there is an administrative role. The administrative role is again higher than the teacher's role, where the administrator can set the permission to the teachers to change attendance, or many things they can do which our teachers can't do. So you can set up a role in AWS also, just like ERP. So this is how do you manage the IAM roles. Okay. So the last way to set access to manage, federate access users by enabling an identity federation. Identity federation means you have to first identify that in a company, you have employees who have different kinds of status, who have different kinds of rights and power. So identity federation allow the identity to be, created in the AWS cloud instances. And for every user, you can create an identity. And that's how you can, manage the identity solution. And this support is actually by something called SAML 2.0 and one of the AWS Federation sample. You can use that and you can create an identity. You can create a profile of a person, set up the permission for that person. And this identity federations can be signed up. Sometimes you can give an identity federation to, apart from the employee, to a client also. For example, a particular client, you allow access to certain resource on AWS. And then in that case, what you do is that particular client or vendor doesn't have a domain name, email ID. They can't access with the login credential which you give. So you can allow these person even to access those services, only limited services, by making them use a particular Gmail account or a Facebook account, just like a public service available on public cloud. So that you can make it public, but in a way somewhat private, making it available only for few set of the people who are working outside your, or who are connected, who are the stakeholder of your company, vendors, service providers, client, all those kinds. So you can set up, you have something called, Microsoft Active Directory. This is how you can manage the federate users. Those are the users who are the stakeholders not necessarily the people who are working with you. So that you can do it with Microsoft Active Directory user and have a federate access using a, connecting it with AWS cloud instances and make an identity of that person, that he is a person who's a client or a person who's a service provider, and he can access this with the Facebook or Gmail account. So you can provide that kind of credential. So you can actually manage your credential using a federate access or Microsoft Active Directory. I'll show you a video on this now. Just a minute.
Amazon Identity and Access Management, or IAM, allows you to manage access to compute, storage, database, and application services in the AWS cloud. IAM uses access control concepts you'll already be familiar with, such as users, groups, and permissions, which get applied to individual API calls. So you can specify permissions to control which users can access specific services, the kinds of actions they can perform, and which resources are available, ranging from virtual machines, database instances, and even the ability to filter database query results. For instance, you can determine which users have MFA access to specific Amazon EC2 resources and can perform specific actions on those resources, such as who can launch an Amazon EC2 instance. And with AWS CloudTrail, you can keep logs of these kinds of activities, so it's easier to keep tabs on API activity and stay compliant. You can also integrate your existing identity system, such as Microsoft Active Directory, using standards-based federation technologies so that IT admins and developers can administer AWS without needing additional credentials. By using one central identity management system, you can spend less time and effort administering yet another environment while ensuring everyone gets what they need. We know that security is very important for Amazon Web Services customers, so we have always focused on security as a top priority. In addition to physical security certification, to providing fine-grained access and data locality controls, AWS provides the infrastructure building blocks so you can build sophisticated, secure applications which meet the regulatory and compliance standards your business requires, from ITAR to HIPAA. IAM lets developers focus on the features and functionality of their applications, while it does the heavy lifting on the security side of things. For instance, IAM can automatically rotate access keys on your virtual machine instances, ensuring that only trusted applications and users have appropriate access at any given time. There's no additional charge for IAM, and getting started is easy. Just click the Getting Started tab.
Okay. So next application is called Web Application Firewall, WAF. So Web Application Firewall is also called, as I said, the WAF. It protects the web application running on AWS, cloud form from any kind of exploitation. As the name suggests, it's a firewall service for your web application. So WAF can protect against any kind of threat that could compromise the security or maybe the availability of your web app. Suppose you have uploaded that. If it can also protect the application from any kind of exploitation which can force your application to consume extra resources, and in turn, you end up paying a lot of money to AWS. So that also can be provided with that, or maybe with any services. So WAF, when you are using, you only pay for what you use with no upfront commitment. You don't have a particular subscription fees. So whatever you are using, you are basically, a kind of paying for that. So just a minute. And when you're talking about WAF, WAF is basically trying to provide a very good security on your web app. It also see to it that it improves the web traffic visibility. What you know about all about the firewall. So I will not discuss more about the firewall because all of you know what is firewall. How does it basically watch the traffic which is coming to your server, and how does it protect the inflow and outflow of information from your server. So basically to increase more security and protection against any web attack to your server. So Amazon has something called Amazon CloudFront, which is again can be deployed. You can deploy there this way WAF and your content. Also, apart from that, when you're talking about Amazon CloudFront, there's also a kind of a feature called Amazon API Gateway. There also you can deploy the WAF firewall. So this AWS firewall is an affordable, adaptable protection for your web application, which will be running on AWS CloudFront, or it can be via Amazon API Gateway. So you can just manage to provide all kind of security or firewall security using this. So let's see a video on this.
Web applications and APIs face security risks that can cause downtime or consume excess resources. AWS WAF is a web application firewall that protects against common web exploits and bots that may affect availability, compromise security, or consume excessive resources. You can deploy it with a few clicks on Amazon CloudFront and Application Load Balancer to protect your applications, whether they run in the cloud or on premises. Quickly get started using managed rules for AWS WAF, which includes pre-configured rules for the OWASP Top 10 security risks and protection against common and pervasive bot traffic. You can customize an existing rule or create your own to filter out specific traffic patterns. AWS WAF offers near real-time traffic visibility through Amazon CloudWatch metrics, where you can log each inspected web request header data for security automation, analytics, or auditing purposes. Using AWS Firewall Manager and AWS WAF's fast rule propagation, you can easily and quickly deploy protections across your organization to keep your applications and APIs available and protected. Get started today with AWS WAF.
Okay. So next one we are going to talk about is AWS Shield. So you remember one session I took and I talked about denial of services, DDoS attack, that when you are trying to access kind of a website, and if the website is overloaded with a lot of requests, so what happens? The website basically, sometimes it may be a kind of a real scenario, or it can be sometimes the website is experiencing a DDoS attack, which is called distributed denial of service attack. And so your network resource or your website is unavailable temporarily. It hangs, or the server doesn't respond to those repeated access requests, because sometime what happened when this attack happened, as I've already explained you in one of the session, that the request can be sent to the website using thousands of unique IP address. So basically a hacker or a malicious person in the organization would overload the server with access requests, so that the real user can't access the website, and it become very busy. And what happens, the user will not wait, and then you lose the business, right? So when a particular server become overloaded with lot of requests and the workload is very high, it becomes exhausted, overwhelmed. This is a situation which happened with us also. Mentally we shut down when there's so many people requesting us, do this, do that, and all, it happens. So similarly the server also faces the same problem when it is under the attack of DDoS. So what AWS does, AWS has a service called AWS Shield, which provide the detection and automatic mitigation of this effect of DDoS. So they minimize the effect of DDoS by load balancing. I have explained to you about load balancing in the last chapter. So AWS Shield minimize the application downtime and also the latency when this DDoS attack had happened. So there are two tiers of AWS Shield. Okay. These two tiers of AWS Shield, just a minute, are basically in terms of one is called standard tier and one is called the premium tier. The standard tier is automatically enabled. It is free to use and it protects your web application from DDoS attack. And when you use it with CloudFront or route, F53, then also you can use this. This is freely available with that, and you can obtain the protection against all kind of infrastructure attack. The second tier is called Shield Advance, and this provide 24/7 access to AWS DDoS response team. It detects and mitigate any kind of DDoS attack with a real-time visibility into your event, and also it integrates the AWS WAF, which is the AWS firewall. The Shield Advance also provide the higher level of protection, network and transport layer protection, automated application traffic monitoring. So Shield Advance provide a financial protection against DDoS by doing something called spike for charge for EC2, the elastic load balancer, which I explained in the last session. It can be in the CloudFront and Route 53 or Route 53 also. So globally, CloudFront and Route 53 location has this, use this AWS Shield Advanced feature. So your web application, which is hosted anywhere in the world, but is protected by AWS Shield, you are able to, you will be worry free that you will not get an attack, or you will not face a downtime of your server or downtime of your service. Your application will run 24/7 without worry. So these are the two tiers, AWS Shield, which can be used against the DDoS attack, and it can cater to your need. So this is what I wanted to tell you about this. Let us see a video
As an
on this.
AWS customer, you benefit from pre-configured automatic protection against common network and transport layer attacks, such as UDP floods. For stronger customized protection against targeted DDoS attacks, you can subscribe to AWS Shield Advanced. Shield Advanced gives you tailored protection using an exabyte scale detection platform that aggregates data across AWS to identify threats. It creates a baseline of your application's normal traffic patterns and monitors for availability threats. When an availability risk is detected, Shield Advanced automatically deploys network and application layer mitigations, such as rate limiting, dropping traffic, or using advanced routing techniques. Shield Advanced provides alerting via Amazon CloudWatch, and you can call on the Shield response team to help you mitigate more complex DDoS attacks at any time. Easily configure web application protection with AWS WAF and centrally manage security policies with AWS Firewall Manager, which are included at no additional cost. Shield Advanced offers reporting through the management console and APIs, and cost protections safeguarding you against charges resulting from DDoS-related usage spikes. Strengthen your application availability today and get started with AWS Shield Advanced.
So you can check all these kinds of services on amazon.com/shield, and you can check it what it is. You all should know about this. Last one, I think the second last one is Amazon, because after that the advisor is also there. So I'll just do it fast. Amazon Inspector. So if your company, suppose, develop an application, and there is a service that can provide your auditors and your development team peace of mind, knowing that your developer team and your auditors, when they audit a particular application which is developed by your company, whether this particular application is adhering to a security standard set by your company, the auditor will check that. So your developer should make sure that they are developing the application which adheres to the security standard of the company as well as the industry. Just now I showed you the compliance. So Amazon Inspector is an automated security assessment services for your application which is deployed on AWS. That means that it monitor and invigilate like an inspector whether you are following all the compliances of industry or the compliances of your company. You have to upload the compliances. This means that it helps you improving the security and the compliances of this application by just automatically assessing them for exposure, vulnerability, all the best practices. So once this auditing is completed, the inspector will do the audit. It generates a detailed report for you and help you to check where are the loopholes where you might have missed out on certain compliances. And maybe in wrong run, when you make this application available to the public, it will be a problem. So security team will get a report. If this is basically for the auditor of your company, when you're developing app, the developers may also check it, but the auditors will get this report, and this report help them in reducing the risk of compliance not followed and getting caught by the industry or by the company. So this is something which the Amazon inspector does. Okay, so Amazon inspector inspect your application to find out the security patch issues, the loopholes into it, and also whether you're following the industry standard or the best practices or not. So this is what it is utilized for. Okay, so let's see.
Security gaps created by software vulnerabilities and unintended network access can lead to compromised workloads and unauthorized access to data. Amazon Inspector is a vulnerability management service that is easy to enable across your entire organization with a few clicks in the AWS Management Console. Inspector's integration with AWS organizations simplifies multi-account management and centralizes findings for the security team. Once enabled, Inspector automatically discovers workloads such as Amazon EC2 instances and containers, and continually scans them for software vulnerabilities and unauthorized network exposure. Inspector correlates up-to-date CVE information with factors like network accessibility and exploitability, creating accurate and meaningful risk scores to help you prioritize your response to address vulnerable resources. Inspector helps you reduce mean time to resolve vulnerabilities with automation through integration with partner solutions, Amazon EventBridge, and AWS Security Hub. Launch Inspector's free trial to discover your critical vulnerabilities.
Okay. So now the last one is called Abundant Service, AWS Trusted Advisor. So when you're looking for some kind of a problem in your industry, like financial problem, or some problem occurs in the business, and you feel that I wish someone should tell me that how do I should have some advisors who should tell me that what I can do with my money, how do I invest my money so that I get a good return, minimum risk. So can I, because I need some advisor. I want to, a kind of an industry expert who can give me an advice. So the people, because I want an advisor on the security of my money, on security of the investment which I'm thinking of, can somebody advise me? So oftentimes the people you call about asking for any kind of advisor, whether it's on money investment or any security issues, those people are called the expert. You will obviously call a person who are expert, who you feel that can give you a right advice. So they become your advisors, whether they become a financial advisor or something. So in AWS cloud infrastructure, you also have a service called Trusted Advisors. AWS Trusted Advisor is a service which guides you with all kind of AWS best practices. So when you scan your AWS infrastructure, the Trusted Advisor advises you that how your infrastructure is not following the AWS best practices based on the 5 categories. And these categories are cost optimization, performance, security, fault tolerance, and service limited. So what this advisor does, it tell you that you are paying more. You may pay less for the services which you are using if you use this. Your performance can be better if you use these services of AWS. Your security can be better if you use these features which I was discussing, right? All those kinds, and they tell you that. So AWS provided an action recommendation. The advisor provided action recommendation for you to follow a best practice standard. So all AWS customers have access to 7 core trusted advisor check for free. These are all free. These checks are in S3 bucket permissions. You have, when you were showing me all you people exercise, you showed me the permission. So there is a security, S3 bucket permission is there. Then your security group permission is there. Specific port unrestricted permission is there. IAM, which I explained you, MFA on root account, then EBS public snapshot, then you have RDS public snapshot and service limit. So for those with enterprises or business sports plan, you can extend a set of check or recommendation available through these advisors. So on the top, so all these kinds of a check which a trusted service advisor of AWS give you, they can give you also send you notification on weekly update. For example, if there's a new check available, you can also set up a response to this automated action with the alert on Amazon CloudWatch. You can do that. So they also have a programmatic access to scan the result. They have a support, AWS support API. So AWS Trusted Advisor is a valuable services which is available for you to align your cloud resources, what you're using on AWS, with best practices. Okay. And also allow you to monitor proactively. So you can use the best practices which are used. So last one, not the least one, this is the last one. And then I will leave you people. This is called Amazon Guard Duty. So this is Amazon Guard, who is guarding your servers 24/7. You will sleep, you can sleep without having any sleepless night. You don't have to wake up and you have to monitor your cloud infrastructure for any threats and malicious activity. So what this particular thing does, Amazon Web Service Cloud, which the services which we say is a guard duty, is a threat detection service which monitor for any kind of a malicious activity or unauthorized behavior to protect your A-Cloud services instance 24/7. Okay, it analyzes millions or billions of events across multiple AWS data source, which can send an alert to you using AWS CloudWatch event. Okay, so the guard duty, AWS guard duty, uses machine learning, they use anomaly detection, they use integrative threat intelligence to identify the potential threat which can impact your, and it's a proactive service, not a reactive service, impact your AWS cloud infrastructure. And best of all is that you can deploy the guard duty within a few clicks with no extra software infrastructure to manage. It can take advantage, and Amazon Guard Duty will monitor continuously 24/7 your AWS cloud infrastructure, intelligently detect all the threat using machine learning, and help you to take immediate action if the threat is found. So before the threat attacks you, it will tell you. So you can have a good night's sleep because the Amazon Guard Duty is watching your resources. So I stop here. If there is any, question which is available, we can take, or we can end this session. I'm not giving any work today. Just finish those work. And if you want, just please go ahead and check all these, whatever I have told you in the cloud, because you should not be only looking into creating instances or having the storage or whatever the core technology, but also should know the security features, because AWS is not all about using the various features, but also about security and compliances. Yes.
Ma'am, I'm just intervening in between. That means, ma'am, today 7 centers have given you the presentations, right? So you're allowing the next 6 centers to give in the next session, madam?
Yeah. Next session
Okay,
they can
thank
give,
you.
and some of them have done incomplete. They can do it in the next one, because whatever
Next.
they have learned, if they can do this much, that is a great job they have done.
Great. As long as you are happy, madam, it is okay. Thank you.
Okay, any question, students? I think all of them are really bugged up today. A lot of gyan and a lot of work they have done. So we'll leave the session now. So see you in the next session. In the next session, I will take the last part of Amazon Web Practical Exam, which is billing and invoicing. Yeah. Somebody was asking something. Yeah, is there any question? Okay, so then bye. See you in the next week, and prepare and do all your work properly. go through this particular Amazon Web Service compliances and security domain and find out more about it. Because when you go for an interview, they will ask you all these questions. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, madam.
Bye, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.